Hi guys, this is a highly requested video, so we're doing it. This is not something that I initially intended to do. This is something that rubs people the wrong way. It has heaviness around it. It is controversial. People get upset when I bring this up and say that I'm irresponsible for talking about this stuff. I personally believe that knowing how to recognize dark energy and clear it helps people not feel afraid and helps people not to feel so bogged down by this. Not everybody experiences spiritual warfare, but people that are divine, that have a higher calling, and that especially have past lives or ancestors that dealt with the occult, with root work, with shamanism. A lot of us deal with these attacks, and it's more so to help you learn how to protect yourself. Higher paths will always attract darkness, people that are envious, and a lot of people that feel out of control in their lives, may resort to something dark to feel like they have power over others. So not everybody deals with this. This is not something to fear. It's something that if you experience it, having a basic knowledge of what's happening, being able to read people's intentions and knowing how to clear this energy off of you is something that's very powerful and I think is beneficial. So at the very bottom, my Venmo and PayPal, if you feel to call to tip me, it does help. Thank you to everybody that has. And my website, if you resonate with my energy and you feel safe in my energy, I do make products for return to sender, for cutting soul ties, for dark energy removal, for spell removal. If I'm within your price point and you feel good in my energy, that's available to you as well. I'm not pushing my products. And I did do a blog post on my website. It's in my description, almost every video. And I will leave it in the comments. So that is a very basic way to clear dark energy, whether it just be dark energy you've picked up, if it's evil eye, or if it's spell work. It will start the process of clearing it and you'll start to feel relief. I make sure I throw my products in there that are helpful, but I also make sure to give you, this is like everyday items you can find at the grocery store, you can find at home already to help clear you, because my main goal is to empower my soul tribe, my community. I'm not looking to prey on anybody. And I think that people take, when I address spell work, the wrong way, because it does scare a lot of people, but being fearful does feed into it. And there are, false workers out there that are frauds that will say, oh, you have a curse on you. You need to pay me a couple $1,000s to clear it. I'm not that type of person ever. And my work is more so, this is what is happening. This is ways that you can help yourself. So this is from my perspective. I have dealt with black magic extensively. I still have spiritual attacks going on. It's something that is just part of my life as a shadow worker, and I have a really intense 8th house, which is the occult. If you have a lot of placements in the 8th house, if you have a lot of Scorpio placements, there's a good chance you're going to deal with some sort of occult energy, at least an interest in it, but more so you will experience people drawing these types of people into your life. So that is something to be aware of. And yeah, I think just knowing when you feel a little darkness and knowing when it doesn't belong to you and knowing how to clear it really empowers people. So that's really, from my perspective, what we're doing here. And this has been requested. This is not me pushing my products or trying to scare people. And I know I'm going to get accused of that anyway. And every time I talk about black magic, I'm told that it's not real and I'm trying to scare people. The real ones know, the ones that this is going to be helpful with know my true intentions. And, there's always going to be people that are hateful. And then, there's also people that thrive using black magic, and they're going to be quite upset that I'm discussing this, and that's fine. This is something that I deal with, guys. So I have had a lot of covens go against me. I've had a lot of karmics that do this work. I've had death magic done on me. And even, so I burnt this last week. This is one of my return to sender candles. It is black. This is a sign of dark work. This is not a good sign. This is nothing to fear. It's just, if the black goes all the way down to the bottom, you need to do another candle. With this one, it starts to get clear, you see, but at the back, we have the black all the way down. So if you work with spell candles, it's important that you learn how to read them because they can show you a lot. So soot is a blockage. In terms of protection candles, return to sender candles, this is dark work. Being all the way down to the bottom in the back, the front is the physical realms, the back is the spiritual realm. So it does show that, spiritual attacks. So this is something that I deal with. This is not a thing that, you clear it and then it's done and you never have to worry about it again, and, that might be somebody's path that you were attacked and that person is going to stop and you're okay now. And, for some of us, it's just an ongoing thing. But again, being empowered to clear it and protect yourself, that is what we are doing here. Okay, so black magic and evil eye. So evil eye, as most people know, is evil eye. I have them all over. So that is people that are envious of you. If you are somebody that, attracts a lot of envy, people send you dark energy and they wish you harm. And, not everybody that sends evil eye energy is a bad, awful person. They're just envious, dealing with their own stuff. But that can create some energetic blockages in your life that it's good to know how to remove. And then black magic is someone doing spells on you through, their own work, through a practitioner, through a root worker, what have you. There are levels of black magic. I am not saying this to educate people, and I feel like I have warded my stuff enough to where if somebody, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. If they don't hear it from me, they're going to hear it from somebody else, and I'm telling you how to get it off of you. So they get mad that I do that, but it is what it is. So, a jinx is something that is temporary. It creates like bad luck in your life, some inconveniences, but it's easy to clear. You can usually clear it depending on, the skill, the spell, whatever. You can clear it, one candle, a couple of clearing baths, usually 1 to 3 spiritual baths. A hex is a step up. It's meant to cause harm in your life, and it's more intense and it's harder to remove. And then a curse is very serious. A curse is meant to cause direct harm, and curses, when they hit you, and I don't mean to scare anybody, curses are hard to remove, especially if you're unskilled, especially if you're going to somebody that's not very skilled, and curses can ricochet. So I don't mean to scare people, but if somebody curses one person, it can cause harm in their neighbor and their family. It is very, very serious, and it does come with very serious consequences, obviously. And a curse is something that, unless you are very skilled on your own, and this is something that you have extensive past life. I have worked with people that have, past lives as shamans, as root workers, and they have been able to clear this themselves, and it was part of their journey to learn how. For most people, you're going to need to go to a professional. A shaman can clear it from you. You also might be able to find a root worker or to go to a trusted reader to help, find out where this is coming from, who it could possibly be from. That's not guaranteed, and it's, an individual thing. I'm not here to diagnose you or help you, and, curses are not something that everybody goes around doing. A lot of times somebody will try to do it and it'll backfire because it's not meant to be on you. Again, if you are somebody that has a curse on you, more than likely you are somebody of a very high calling, and you more than likely have experience in a past life. So it's nothing to fear. I genuinely don't believe that, God, source, spirit would send anything dark to you that you're not capable of mustering strength within yourself to overcome. So I don't feel like it's anything that you need to fear. But if you try to clear it, and you try and you try and you try and you still feel darkness, there might be a point where you need to turn to a professional. And I would go through what feels good, and I would also look into, your ancestry. Some people would feel more comfortable going to a shaman. Some people would feel more comfortable going to somebody within their church, within their religion. It's really what feels right for you. Everybody's path is individual, and you need to go with what resonates with you. Okay. So how this takes a hold of us, soul ties are really important to understand. So a soul tie is created to somebody through, I talked about this a little bit last week's video, prolonged courting, somebody, trauma, emotional abuse, a relationship. Not all soul ties are bad. A relationship that lasts a long time. If you have a lot of up and downs with that person, sexual intercourse, there's a lot of things that connect you with somebody. It's somebody that you feel pulled towards. Now, does everybody that you feel pulled towards, is that dark, evil, bad? No, but if there's somebody that you know has dark energy, somebody that you don't feel comfortable with, and you can't get this person away from you, you need to look into soul ties in the spiritual realms. If you're looking more, in the psychological trauma bonds, similar things. It's somebody that has really ingrained themselves within you, and it's something that you need to work to remove. And the darker ties do take more attempts. If somebody has a soul tie to you, they are connected to you energetically, and it is it's easier, and spell work is more effective on you. So you need to look at, do I have a soul tie to this person that I need to cut? Third parties. Third parties. Now, let's say, you can see my ring light. This is a lot to unpack, guys. I'm gonna cover as much as I can, but it's a lot, and that's why I do readings on this, because there's different methods, there's different ways this comes about. Anyways, okay, through third parties, this is really common with a lot of divine feminines, that you have a masculine that you're tied to, that you have a soul tied to. They're your divine counterpart. There's somebody that you want to be with, somebody that you have a willing tie with, but they're dealing with a third party. If they have a soul tie to that third party, and that third party is doing magic on them, it can affect you. It can. And in these instances, when it is a third party, you can't save others. You really can't. It's the, I've talked about this before. My dad had to remind me of this, the oxygen masks. Secure your mask first before the other person. If you are tied to a masculine that is dealing with extensive spell work, at a certain point, you need to start the process of releasing that masculine, because it's not fair to you to have to deal with the spell work. Especially, I've discussed this, you have to think of it in terms of what is the motive behind the spell work. So if a karmic is tied to a masculine that is low vibrational, that is unfaithful, that wants to get away from them, and is kind of in a low point in their life, which is typically what would lead somebody to being with a karmic to begin with, and not being able to get away from this karmic. So typically what will happen in these situations, I see it time and time again, the divine masculine has a karmic that's kind of in and out of their life. Things aren't working out with that karmic. They're separated from the karmic. They're distant from the karmic. They meet the divine feminine. They, connect with the divine feminine. A lot of times, through sex, there's that tie is initiated, that kundalini is initiated. All of a sudden, that masculine that was drained by that karmic is full of light again. So here comes, like I was gonna say a bee to honey, but bees produce honey. You get what I'm saying? It's like a magnet. That karmic all of a sudden wants that masculine again, is interested in that masculine again. And it's not really about that masculine, it's about taking the light that masculine has. So these, karmic feminines get obsessed with the divine feminine and get obsessed with doing evil eye, hating her, wishing her harm, hoping bad things happen to her, gossiping about her, getting other people to participate in the evil eye. And, a lot of them do resort to black magic. it's not about the masculine, it's about the feminine. She wants to make the feminine feel bad about herself. She wants to compare herself to the feminine. She wants what the feminine has, the divine feminine. He or she, you get what I'm saying? It's just, it's easier to use. Anyways, it's about the feminine. So you have to think about it in terms of this masculine is a willing participant. They are not just completely brain dead. There is some sense of self there, and they would not be dealing with this karmic if it was not part of their, journey of karma. That is part of their karmic lessons, to have to learn how to release people like this, how not to fall prey to people like this. It is part of that masculine's journey. So you are not responsible for your counterpart. You are not, a caretaker for your counterpart. That is not a healthy relationship. So there comes a point that you have to recognize that this masculine is feeding off of my light, and then is going to this karmic third party and giving her that light. And that is causing this whole thing. It's not about the masculine, because she didn't want the masculine before. It's about the feminine now. So as long as you are feeding into this energy, you are a participant. So that is something that to keep in mind as well, is, hating the karmic, competing with the karmic, trying to protect the masculine. I do think that it's human nature to want to protect your masculine. And I do think that praying for them, doing protective spells if you feel called to, I do think that, that's a useful thing to take on for yourself if that's something you feel called to do. But I do believe at a certain point, you have to release that person, and you have to understand that they are an adult and they should be able to fight their own battles. And as long as you're fighting their battles for them, if it's not that karmic, it's going to be another karmic, because it's their karmic lesson to learn. And they are attracting karmics into their life because they are not learning their lessons. They are not mastering their lessons. And that's going to continue to happen for both of you, because as the light source, you are feeding it. So that is something to recognize as well, is that you can have a soul connection with somebody, but if they are behaving in a karmic manner and they are feeding into karmic individuals that go through spell work, that is part of their journey, and you don't need to feed into it. You don't need to be a participant in that. And you can wish somebody well, pray for them, and remove your energy. And you'll often find that when you remove your energy from that masculine, that karmic is going to start to flip shit. That karmic is going to show her ugly side, because she's not getting what she wants anymore. And that's really going to begin the journey of the divine masculine becoming a divine masculine, recognizing what is going on and stepping up for themselves. If they're babied, if they're, feel like they can bounce back and forth, and when they're drained by the karmic, they can come back to you and be filled up with light again, and then go back to the karmic, is just a never-ending cycle. So I do think as a divine feminine, if you are dealing with this, release that masculine first and foremost, because they are the source. It is very important that you track down where this dark energy is coming from and cutting it off. And I have had people ask me if this is an individual that I live with, this is an individual that I have children with. It depends on your individual journey. If you feel unsafe, if you feel like this person may cause harm to you, I would look into, pressing charges. I would look into a restraining order. I can't tell you what to do in your own situation, especially when abuse is involved, but I would look into, when I discovered my ex was a narcissist, I was stuck in a lease with them at that time. So what I started to do is learn as much as I could about narcissism, and I was careful not to do it on my personal cell phone, because I started to recognize that he had broken into my phone and he was watching what I did on my phone. So I started to use my work computer. I let my boss know. I talked to my trusted coworker about it, and they provided emotional support. And I was able to get in touch with a domestic violence center. I went there when I was supposed to be at work. It depends on your own individual journey, but I would educate yourself as much as you can on narcissism if you believe you're dealing with a narcissist. And it's recommended within that community you know, the narcissistic education community. There's a lot of support on social media. There's a lot of great psychotherapists that do YouTube videos. If I can find some of them, I'll try to share them. I have a lot to do today. I'll do my best, but learn as much as you can. Understand the manipulation tactics that you're dealing with, and it's often recommended that you go gray rock, which is that you stop feeding into it. You stop giving responses. But again, it depends on if you feel safe or not. If this person is violent, if this person is, you know, somebody that you're scared to, you know, go home at night, I would really look at your domestic violence center, look at your local laws, look at what you can do for yourself. So, you know, I'm not able to help you when it comes to legal advice. You know, I have a psychology bachelor's degree. I worked as a counselor in my early career. I have, you know, some knowledge of psychological disorders, and I do kind of have a counselor mind, but I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not currently licensed to provide counseling when it comes to mental health problems. So I really recommend looking into counseling, looking into your local laws if this is something that is life-threatening. And yeah, it is difficult when you believe that magic is involved, because a lot of times you go to a therapist and you start talking about hexes and black magic, they're going to think that you're crazy, because not a lot of people understand this. But, you know, seeking help for abuse, and if you're in danger, you know, that is something separate from this, that I think that you need to make sure that you are physically okay at first. And I would go about getting a restraining order in place if you can, finding somewhere safe, you know, if you deal with an abusive individual, having a go bag. This is something I had to do. I had to get a go bag. I hid it in the trunk of my car. I had to leave there as soon as I could. You know, I just grabbed my dog and went. Just take the essentials, and, you know, your life is the most important thing. So I just want to touch on that, because I don't want to be on here talking about like magic and like woo-woo stuff. If like your life is in danger, that is something that's a lot bigger than this, and make sure that you're safe first and foremost. Okay. Social media is another thing you need to be aware of. If you have public pages, you really need to be careful with what you are showing. One, if you have people that are abusive, don't share your current locations on your open, you know, Instagram page. Don't share where you are. Be careful with, you know, things of that nature, obviously. But also social media, and this is something that I kind of want to go more into with social media as a portal. It is a portal. You have to think about the amount of energy you put into your social media pages, how much time you spend, you know, sharing pictures of yourself, of your family, of your friends, of the things that you care about. A lot of our energy signature is on our social media pages. So we do need to be careful if we are sharing a lot of ourselves, that if somebody is a practitioner, they will go find your photos. They will go, you know, try to learn about your life. They will try to connect to your energy. A lot of them will create fake pages and contact you. You know, a lot of them will try to tell you that they have a message for you. I experienced this a lot when I was first dealing with a third-party karmic, complete stranger, never met her, was an ex of my divine masculine. When she started doing magic on me, it was like every day I was getting messages from people that was like black magic sorcerer, DMing me and saying like, do you like, what's going on in your life? Do you need energy clearing? I sense dark energy on you. And you know, a lot of that is like scams, it's frauds, but sometimes black magic practitioners will try to get into your energy like that, because it's a way to connect with your energy. If you are, yes, I have this going on in my life right now. How did you know? Can you tell me more? You are feeding into that energy, and you just need to be aware of who you're allowing into your life, because not all people that pose as spiritual workers are, you know, have your best interest at heart. Be careful about going to tarot readers. If you know a karmic goes to a tarot reader, don't go to that same tarot reader. It's protect your energy as much as you can from people. Things like your birth chart, your natal chart, that gives a lot of information to your trauma. If you've ever looked at your natal chart, a lot of people cry. Most people that I know that I've talked to about their natal chart and they've gone and looked it up later have come to me like, thanks a lot. You opened a can of worms on my trauma. It has a lot of detail as to what traumas you've experienced in life, karmic lessons you need to learn. A karmic getting hold of that is like a jackpot. So it's little things like this we really need to protect ourselves on. So I first and foremost, if you are under spiritual attack, I would make my social media private. My personal social media is private, and I do not add people that I do not personally know. And I had to do this when I started experiencing a lot of attacks, and I literally went from like 400 followers down to like 150. I got rid of everybody that I did not know who they were, or I had a connection with that person. Sometimes you make social media friends. I had to feel into their energy and see, and even today, not today, but this past week, if somebody is abusive, if somebody wants to harm you, they are not above looking through your social media friends. Oh, I have a friend of hers. I'm going to try to get into this person's life and then try to connect with them. What this narcissist did to me. This narcissist makes fake pages. This narcissist contacts me constantly. I haven't talked to this person in, it'll be 3 years in less than a month. I've had a restraining order on that person for 2 of those 3 years. They constantly made fake pages. They constantly contacted me with fake pages. Any person that I knew connected to that person, I had to stop talking to, had to block them. And even people that, I knew this person and I thought that we were friends, if he had a way into that person's life, he was going to take it. So I really had to kind of lock down my social media. And that's really what I recommend to most of my clients, that they're dealing with a karmic. I know that if you want a public page and you like interacting with people, I would kind of save yourself, the parts of yourself that need to be kept private. I would save those and keep them off of social media. So if you know that there's somebody dark out there that is, trying to find your information through an open page, I would not be sharing pictures of my children, of my animals, of my family. I would be really careful about personal things that I share. And also, your photos can be used in spell work. A lot of people will use your photos. So something that will help with that, it doesn't stop it completely, but it will help, is filtering your photos. I don't like to really filter or use, a lot of editing on my photos personally. It kind of goes against what I believe, female empowerment. I don't feel like women should have to alter their looks extensively in photos. It's just my personal beliefs. I prefer to post the photo with the pimple, with the wrinkle, with, the sloppy lipstick. I'm just that type of person. I started filtering my photos. When I don't filter them so much that you can't see them, that's, but I at least throw up one filter on there to kind of filter out that energy as clear as you want it to be. The clearer that it is, the more of your energy signature is on that photo. So it's just things to be aware of. I would protect your birthday. Protect your birthday if you can. Do not share like your birth chart. A lot of people get it and want to share it. If you can't protect your birthday, keep the time you were born, your place of birth, keep that to yourself if you can. Doing these things just to kind of protect and keep what's, sacred to you sacred. That's, up to you, but that's something that I recommend. Okay, now detecting black magic, animal messengers. This is personal things that I have noticed, and you kind of have to connect to your own intuition, to your own guides. These are just like things that when I see these, I'm like, yep, I know immediately. Animal messengers, crows. A lot of crows or ravens. There are certain guides that resonate with these animals. So you kind of have to connect to the energy, but I have had experiences with murders of crows, like going past and scaring the hell out of me. It's happened a couple times, and it's like when that happens, I know that something, is going on in the spiritual realm, something kind of dark, and I need to check myself, protect myself. Black cats. Now, black cats are, they're nothing to be feared, but understanding that the message that they bring, a black cat signals, it depends, there's different schools of thought. For me personally, a major shift in energy, a major change, but also being aware that black cat hair, black dog hair is used in spell work, is used in conflict magic specifically. So if you are having a lot of conflict with people in your life and you're seeing black cat after black cat after black cat, that could be a sign that somebody might be doing magic on you to create disharmony in your relationships. Dreams. Oh, another big animal. Sorry, I almost forgot. Flies. Flies. If you are out and you notice that you are being swarmed by flies, and not a like you smell, your unusual amount of flies in your face, around your aura, that's a major sign for me that something dark is going on. It's animal messengers, the flies, getting in your face, getting into your ear. It's sometimes they're trying to warn you that somebody is on your page and your energy, trying to connect with you. It's a major sign. Flies specifically are a major sign for me, and also gnats, but usually with gnats, when they're in my face, that just means that somebody wants to connect to my energy. It's not necessarily somebody dark. It just means that there's somebody on my page, somebody's looking through my stuff. It might be a friend, it might be somebody that is, interested in me. That's just kind of a sign for me personally that somebody is trying to tap into my energy. It's not always a bad sign, but flies specifically point to spell work for me personally, and I have started to pick up on the fact that when I start to feel dark energy around me, and I'm somebody that can see spirits, I'm somebody that interacts with the spirit world, so I can pick up on dark energy. I have noticed when I pick up on dark energy, the flies come, and there's a lot of flies. So that might happen for you. I also just recommend animal messengers. If an animal is in your face, if you're seeing it everywhere, tap into the energy, look it up, Google it. And then also it's important to recognize, how do I feel when I'm seeing this? Any type of sign. I've talked about this before. When I was in the abusive relationship with the karmic, at one point something really, really bad happened between us, and we were separate for a while. And I was praying a lot about, do I stay with this person? Do I try to work it out with this person, or do I move on? And I would be praying about this, and then I would see 1111, 111. And being somebody that was newly awakened, I would think that's a sign that, yes, I should stay with that person. Well, understanding that 1111, 111 can mean new beginning, me asking, should I stay with this person because I don't feel safe, because it doesn't feel good, I'm scared, should I stay with this person? New beginning means it's time for a new beginning for you. But me took that as, I guess I should stay with them. That's God wants me to stay with this person. Starting to recognize these signs and really how we feel individually, because not every person on Google is going to know how your spirit team is trying to contact you specifically. It really depends on who you are and who your guides are. So just paying attention, really. Dreams are so important. If you start having dreams about somebody that you're not connected to, now obviously dreams tap into our subconscious. So if it's somebody that you work with, you think a lot about, you have a strained relationship with this person and you're having dreams about them and there's conflict in the dreams, that doesn't necessarily point to that person is doing spell work on you. This is significant if you do not know this person, if you don't know this person well, if you haven't talked to this person in years and all of a sudden they are showing up in your dreams and they are scary. That is a major sign that something wrong is happening. As I was talking about this third party, I had never met this third party. She was not important to me. I think at some point she had started to connect to my energy because I randomly was being a creep. This is many shadow work layers ago, when I still used to fall prey to looking at somebody's social media. This is how people can prey off your energy. They can cord to you. So do not stalk people. I really don't stalk your ex, especially if somebody is narcissistic in nature. They don't have a good energy. Don't look up your ex's ex. If this is a karmic, please do not go look at this karmic's social media page, because social media is not real. They're going to post what they want you to see. They're going to trigger you on purpose, and they're going to prey off your energy. This is before I knew about black magic, before I understood these things. I think that I had looked at his page to see, you know, what his ex looked like. And I looked at her and I was like, whatever, not threatened by it. I didn't, you know, have any feels towards her. I just knew that, oh, okay, that's what he likes, you know, that type of thing. Did not feel at the time anything towards this girl. She started to show up in my dreams. And then it was like she was showing up in my feed as well. And I don't know her. I don't have any connections to her. I was not on her page all the time. I literally looked at her one time just to kind of get a feel of what this person's type was. Many layers of shadow works ago. I try my best not to do this, but as a human, we all do this. It's normal. I did not feel threatened by her. I did not. It was just, that's what he likes, I guess. You know, that type of thing. Oh, okay. All right. That's interesting. All of a sudden, I was having nightmares about this girl. She was showing up in my dreams. She was in my face. She was trying to prey off my energy. She had a spooky vibe to her. And then it was like in my feed, it was like, you know, she was doing her IG model attempt poorly, popping up in my feed. And this person did not have that many followers. We did not have mutual friends. It's not like she's like, you know, a celebrity by any means. Not even close, you know. It was like, what the hell? Why is this person, like, I don't even know who this is. Why is this person all up in my energy all of a sudden? She had started doing black magic on me. And then physical signs. This really depends on your placements in your birth chart. It can give a lot of information, guys. You want to look at the 8th house. You want to look at if you have any planets in the 8th house, what sign rules your 8th house, especially because that is where the occult is. Also, 6th house can be important in this. 6th house is, depends. It can be enemies, public enemies. 12th house is hidden enemies. Pisces, it's the subconscious. So 12th house is really important as well. And then your 6th house can kind of give you a clue to just irritants. But also knowing your placements can give you signs as to when there's dark energy happening. If you have a stellium, that means that you have a focused energy in that house. I'm just saying this because personally, the black magic had started against me. I did not understand what was happening. I was just having dreams about this random person, and she was spooky in my dreams. And I was like, that's weird. And I started to feel some sort of way towards her. And I was like, that's weird. And then I started to have a lot of stomach problems. And it got to the point that I had to go to the doctor. I had to get IVs. They were about to do like a camera down my throat because they suspected an ulcer. But it was like they couldn't find what was wrong. That's a major sign. Illness that there's no real cause. And I'm not saying if there's no cause and you can't find it and you're struggling with the right doctor, that definitely means black magic. But if you have black magic going on, you can't find the source, or you're getting treatment and it's continuing to linger, you might want to try clearing your energy or looking into if you have sinister people and getting rid of them. I mean, just relieving yourself of stress alone will help. Personally, I have a 6th house stellium, which is Virgo. It is the digestive tract. Virgo rules the digestive tract. All of the signs rule different parts of your body. Aries is the head. If you are getting a lot of migraines, a lot of intense, you know, pressure in your head, if you have a heightened energy in your 1st house, that can be a sign that something's going on. Is it definitely a sign? No, because people with Aries placements are going to naturally have headaches. People with 6th house Virgo placements will have problems with their stomach. That's just the nature of it. But for me personally, that's how it manifested into my life, is I was having stomach issues, and it was to the point that I could not eat, and I was constantly nauseous and in like severe pain. And there was no real cause for it. And what finally relieved me was reversals, doing return to senders. And it's like immediately I started to improve. And then I learned how to protect my house. And I learned how to protect myself when I was out of the house, which I explained in that blog post. I'm not going to go into it because this will be a really long reading. I mean, not reading session, teaching session, whatever. Okay. Also physical signs. For some reason, for me personally, when somebody is evil eyeing me, I get really itchy. I don't know what it is. I will just get itchy and like break out in hives for no reason. And that's usually when there's somebody really dark trolling my page, trying to send me dark energy. And these are just signs individually that my spirit team sends me to let me know something's up. Also, waking up between 3 and 5 is a sign that somebody on the other side, your spirit team, more than likely a spirit, an ancestor, wants to communicate with you. That is when the veil is the thinnest. If your ancestors are waking you up every night from 3 to 5, you might want to kind of see what they want. A lot of times they want to work with you. They have something to show you, something to tell you, but it can also be that you need to protect yourself. My ancestors were literally, get your ass out of bed and do a reversal right now. Do a protective spell, cleanse your energy right now. I will get, if I'm woke up between 3 to 5, which is almost every night, and a lot of times these people will do spell work, especially if they're the type that work in graveyards, if they hire spirits. Those attacks will often happen midnight to 3 a.m., 3 a.m. to 5, that type of middle of the night time when the veil is very thin. So sometimes it's just being awake will help keep you safe from someone trying to hack into your dreams, which is if they're showing up in your dreams and they're spooky, scary, and then all of a sudden you have feelings, especially if you're feeling envious of that person, that is a major, major sign that they're trying to harvest your energy. If you feel, I went from not caring about this person, not thinking this person was pretty in the slightest, just kind of like about this person, to like all of a sudden she's gorgeous and I feel self-conscious about her. Completely random stranger, you know, that is not attractive at all. And I noticed when I pulled the energy off, all of a sudden she's looking grosser and grosser and grosser, you know. That's a major, major sign that someone is doing glamour spells on you, trying to bind themselves to you and trying to pirate your energy. Love spell signs. If this is somebody that you do not want in your life, you're not attracted to this person, all of a sudden they're really attractive and you feel pulled back to them and you just are obsessively thinking about this person. Now this can happen if you have, you know, a connection with this person. You can think about somebody a lot. You have to feel the energy behind it. Is this somebody that you actually like and that you know, might share a soul path with? Or is this a person that you really don't enjoy being around, but you just can't get rid of them? You can't get away from them. That should point to that there's a soul tie and something's going on, especially if you're dreaming about this person. If suddenly you want to forgive this person, you can't stay away from this person, you feel like you need to reach out to this person. Love spells for sure. Okay, so this is getting kind of long. I'm going to try to wrap this up because I don't want this to go on forever. So removal, when to see a professional. I'm going to skip ahead. See a professional if you try to clear it and you can't. If you do, you know, the process that I put in my description, try that first. If you still feel dark energy, maybe seek out a spell removal, seek out a return to sender if you feel called to do so. You know, start to look into anointing oils for protection, items, crystals, you know, whatever feels right, clearing your energy. If you try and try and try and it feels dark and it feels heavy and you can't get it off of you, seek out a trusted worker and see if that helps. And I would not, if someone is DMing you and telling you that they have a curse, people cannot connect to your energy like that. They cannot, you know, there is not, readers do not troll Instagram, doing readings on random people, and oh, I think she might have a curse on her. Let me hop into her DMs. That is a scam, 100%. That is a fraud. Do not trust anybody that tells you without you allowing them into your energy that you have a curse on you. If you feel dark energy around you and you can't get it off of you and you are starting to spiral and feel hopeless, seek out a trusted professional. Curses are very, very hard to lift. And I'm not saying that everybody that tries to curse you, it's going to happen. People have tried to curse me. People have done death magic on me. Do I look dead? I'm fine. But do I have to do extensive work over and over and over to clear it? I do. And, you know, personally, as somebody that is pretty advanced in this stuff, just from my personal experience, I still deal with this. I'm not scared of it. I just kind of know when I start to feel heavy, I need to cleanse. And that's just part of being a spiritual light being. The more light that you attract, the more envy you attract, and just knowing how to clear your energy helps. Okay. Protection. My best protection, what I can tell you guys to do, recommendations. First and foremost, if you can recognize who is doing the magic, cut the tie to them. And if this is a third party, have you tried to, and I know this is hard, it depends on your situation. For most of you, this is a divine masculine, and you've tried to tell your divine masculine that this person is dark, that this person, I believe there's something dark going on. I feel that something is wrong. And they gaslight you and they tell you that you're crazy and they make fun of you. If that is your situation, cut ties with that person. Remove your energy, because you are using your light energy to not only try to protect you, but to protect somebody that is ungrateful, and you are just draining yourself. I would cut the tie. If you know who the dark person is, block them on social media. Stop engaging with this person. Do soul tie cutting rituals until you no longer feel connected to them and their energy, feeling sympathy for them, feeling, you know, like you need to reconnect with them, feeling like they need your help. 1, codependency. 2, there's a trauma bond soul tie going on. They're not the same. A soul tie is not the same as a trauma bond, but a dark soul tie and a trauma bond in place is an endless energy loop for you. And I would highly suggest, if you have experienced abuse, to look into what a trauma bond is. And if this is something that you are struggling with psychologically, look into seeking therapy, professional help, because shadow work is really important. We need to kind of address why this is manifesting into our lives. I'm not saying that you deserve to be attacked this way, that something you're doing is bringing dark people into your life, but what is this situation trying to teach you about yourself? You know, I had to do years of shadow work after experiencing a very, very dark narcissist. Why did I allow this person into my life? Why was I in denial for so long? Why did I not see these clear signs that this person was dark and I needed to get them out of my life? What within me made me resonate with this person? And when I did the shadow work, I did not care about this person anymore. They don't influence me anymore. I don't get triggered anymore. If, you know, their name comes up, I'm not feeling any sort of way. I'm just kind of, I don't care. I don't care about it. So going through and addressing what within me resonated with this person that is dark really helped me to move past it, breaking the trauma bond, breaking the soul tie, breaking this person's control over me. Does this mean that this person goes away? No, it doesn't necessarily, but it does release the hold they have on you. And then doing shadow work as well. If you are feeling the need to try to protect somebody that is being abusive towards you, I mean, gaslighting you, calling you crazy, that's emotional abuse. If this person is hurting you and you feel called to try to protect them despite it, yes, you have a big heart, but you're also being codependent and you're not honoring yourself in that situation. So what within you, it makes you feel like you need to give your power away to this other person? I highly recommend looking into the courting energy vampire video I did last week to really help you understand what courting is and how you give your power away. And yes, you are willingly courting yourself to your masculine who is already tied and bound to this karmic. You cannot save your masculine. You can't. You can only save yourself. And by releasing the masculine and focusing on yourself, you give that masculine a fighting chance to get out of this. Because one, they don't have the safety net. And two, they don't have what the karmic wants anymore. So that karmic will turn on them. That karmic will expose themselves. And then they have a fighting chance of getting out of that. As long as they're bouncing back and forth between you and the karmic is going to kick up the spell work and kick up the spell work. It's an endless loop, and it's not your battle to fight. It is that masculine's battle to fight. Your part in this is releasing and focusing on yourself. And that does take a lot of shadow work, because when you feel connected to somebody spiritually, when you care about somebody, when you love somebody, you want to protect that person. But are they protecting you? Are you getting what you're putting out back from that person? If that answer is no, why are you draining yourself for somebody that is ungrateful and not learning their lessons? It's not your job to learn their lessons for them. We are all on our individual journeys. And if somebody is engaging with karmics, that means that they are in a karmic loop and they are not ready to resonate with a soul partner. They need to complete karmic lessons before they can recognize their soul and recognize who is connected to their soul. Okay, warding. Once you cut the tie, once you do the work on yourself, I would cut the tie and then ward and then work on this. You know, this is an ongoing process. This is not a one and done thing. This is years of work. We're never going to be done with our shadow work. It is a constant thing that you have to work on as a soul that is evolving. No one is ever done with their spiritual work. And if they say they are, they need to have another ego death. Warding is the process of protecting your space. A lot of spell work calls for putting items in your foot tracks. So sprinkling root work where you walk outside on the sidewalk, where you walk to work, and burying stuff on your property. Now, I've talked about this. By burying something on somebody's property, I can sense negative energy. I can sage my entire house. I can cleanse my house. I can cleanse myself. When I walk back outside, I am walking by that spell work and it is reattaching myself to my energy. And this is what makes people feel so defeated. They don't understand the process of warding. So you cleanse and then you walk outside and then you track it right back in, and it's an endless loop, and it is meant to be this way. So what we do for this is to ward our homes. Now, there are so many ways to do this. I turn to protective roots and salt. Salt is very, very protective, especially, it depends on what resonates with you. Some people sea salt, some people kosher salt, most people within the Magick realms, black salt, which is a combination of ash and sea salt, depending on the recipe you get. Salt is purifying, it's protective. I do salt in every corner of my home. I do a line of salt around the entire house. I do protective crystals on the property. I have a clear quartz in every single corner of the house. What that does is it creates kind of a shield barrier. I put black tourmaline over the doors, every single door. And what that does is that clears a person's energy before they come in the home. So if somebody has had a tough day and had a lot of dark energy around them, it's cleared from them when they come through the door. Is this 100% effective? No, but does this help so much, so much. Herbs, if you get sprinkling powder, I make Leave Me Alone. You could do the Success one if you wanted to. I think Leave Me Alone is probably the best one for this. I'm going to do a house blessing. I've kind of decided I'm going to do a house blessing. I don't think many people use my sprinkling powders for this, so I haven't yet. This is what I personally use. My Leave Me Alone powder is a sprinkling powder created to ward against energy vampires, ward against dark spirits, ward against people with malicious intentions. So sprinkling this, you could sprinkle this in your shoe. You could sprinkle this in your bag. You could sprinkle this in the corners of your home, under the doormat. You know, there are many, many ways to go about this. Whatever feels right for you. You know, some old school homes do the horseshoe by the front door. Leading into my office, I have a cinnamon broom. Cinnamon broom above the door by the front door can protect against dark energy and helps bring in positive energy, especially financial blessings. So there are so many ways to go about this, guys. There are so many ways. And you can even do your own roots. Rue is really great for removing dark energy. You could use, you know, rubbed sage. You can use, there's a lot of them. Basil. I have a lot of books on roots used in magic, and I was reading somewhere that there are some, you know, old school root workers that believe where basil is, dark energy cannot exist. So taking a little bit of basil and sprinkling it in the corners of your home, what that is going to do is create like a light barrier. That's personally what I like to do. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm not really going to get into the more intense ones. I really like to provide you guys with basic knowledge and then allow you to kind of find what works for you on your own, because I don't think that what I do specifically is meant for everybody. I feel personally that if you feel called to do this, doing your own research is really a way for your guides and your ancestors to provide you with the knowledge they want you to see. You know, you might feel called to ordering a certain book off of Amazon that has things specific to what would work for you. You may find the right article that has completely different crystals to use, different herbs, you know, different ways of doing this. So it's really do what feels right for you. This is not a, like, you know, this is what you need to do specifically. You need to order my products. You need me. No, you never need me. You need to find the light within yourself, and I'm happy to help lead you in the right direction and provide you with some comfort on this, that you're going to be okay. Let's see. Okay, last thing we're going to cover real quick. Now, the concept of seeking revenge. Karma is important to take note here. But, you know, depending on your journey, most practitioners, most root workers need to understand at least a basic understanding of right versus left-hand magic. Now, this is going to depend on, you know, your person, depend on what you're getting the information from. Right-hand magic is manifestation, is light, is working with light energy, basically. Left hand is working with the shadow. Now, a lot of people would consider a reversal black magic, left hand magic, and because you are handling dark energy. Now, are you conjuring the dark energy? Are you, you know, conjuring, are you hiring spirits, which I do not recommend at all. That comes with, you stay out of the graveyard. Stay out of the graveyard. I've talked about this. Unless you absolutely know what you're doing, you have skills with this, you have been, you know, mentored by a root worker. A lot of real root workers work in the graveyard, work with spirits. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with somebody that specializes in left-hand magic, because what you have to understand about especially hoodoo and root work is it's not evil. It was came about using folk magic and what was taught in African religions, especially. The slaves combined native folk magic with what they were able to carry from their ancestors from Africa to protect themselves magically from slave masters. So is hoodoo evil? No, these enslaved people were being treated cruelly, and they needed a way to protect themselves and to get revenge on people that they could not take matters into, you know, attacking the slave master, the slave owner. beating the slave owner. Obviously, you know, that's what someone would want to do. That would come as a death sentence. So hoodoo, root work, especially in the Americas and places like Haiti, and, you know, Latin America, was created by slaves using native, I want to say native, you know, in America, the Native Americans taught a lot of slaves different methods of using the roots indigenous to the Americas, you know. It was a way of protection, though, a means of protecting against evil. So there are a lot of witches out there, occultists, root workers that specialize in left-hand magic, and it is done for protection and seeking revenge in some ways against somebody that is abusive, that is dark. So, you know, is left-hand magic, black magic, always wrong? Well, let's say I am in an abusive relationship and I can't get away from this person and I feel stuck. If I go to a root worker for a separation spell to make this person leave me alone, is that evil? No. And is that root worker in the wrong for doing that separation spell for a client that is in trouble and needs help? Absolutely not. So I don't think demonizing black magic, left-hand magic is right. And I think in some circumstances, depending on that person's individual journey, it can be something that, you know, that it's justified. That's not my place to judge, and I don't think it's anybody's place to judge. But doing dark magic to bind yourself, to control a person, to have power over a person, to cause direct harm to a person that is innocent because you feel like you deserve to play God in their life, that is always, always, always wrong, and that will always come back to you. So I do believe that, you know, this does return to people karmically. And I think that if you're the type of person that just strictly believes in karma and wants to clear it, that is your, you know, that is your journey and that is your belief. And I think that you should stick with that. So, you know, there are plenty of ways to protect yourself. And that's why I initially had just created a return to sender, but then I decided I'm going to do a spell breaker as well, because not every person wants to return it to sender. Some people just want the dark energy gone. I think it's your personal preference, your personal journey. So there are ways to just remove it. Shamans can remove curses from you. You need to go to a skilled shaman, and one that is a legit shaman, you know, somebody that is well practiced, knows what they're doing, and specializes in curse removal. That is a way to remove the curse, and it is gone, and you're not dealing with sending it back to somebody. But I think that if it's part of your path to learn left-hand magic to some sort, it might be beneficial to at least do a return to sender. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you need to go to war with this person and curse them back, hex them back. I think, you know, that's your personal journey, and I don't need to know. That's your own decision. But I don't think that we should always demonize left-hand magic, and I do think for a lot of us, it is manifesting into our lives because we have past lives. Being a witch, being an occultist, being somebody that, you know, might have experienced a situation where you were being abused and you had to use the magic within you to protect yourselves from this person. So I think that it manifests into our life for a reason, and understanding that it's a part of our journey, I think that that will really help flip your feelings towards this. I think that when you allow the term black magic to scare you and make you feel defeated and like there's just no way to overcome this, I think that that's when it's really going to take its hold on you. When you start to recognize what this is, why this is happening, what is happening, who is doing this, if you can, and you not always can. I have done a lot of return to senders to remove dark energy. I recently did one, the one that I showed you guys. This one was to just anyone that wishes me harm. And that had been something that I hadn't done in a little while. So this is for, you know, people that see my page, and I'm a karmic that does black magic. I'm pissed that she's telling people how to get it off. They might, you know, feel called to try to harm me in some way. So it's not always people that we know. It's not always, you know, something that we're doing. There are just people out there that are very dark and that want to hurt others, and you need to, personally, I believe, learn how to detect it and protect yourself. So I don't think that it's anything that you need to fear. I don't think that it's anything that you need to feel defeated by, but learning how to arm yourself and learning how to cleanse yourself is important. And I personally believe that cleansing is just something that you need to do as an enlightened person anyway. If you have a lot of light, you attract, you know, moths, scavengers, and they're going to try to, you know, project their darkness onto you. They're going to try to trigger you in some way. And when I start to feel dark, when I start to feel moody, when I don't feel good, I throw some Florida water. I talked about how Florida water isn't my favorite. Tobacco is, I have a giant one of this. You know, these are what, $5, $10, $15, depending on the size you get. General cleanser, Florida water. Tobacco is protective. It's also great for ancestor work. A lot of ancestors like tobacco. The 7 African powers, depending on your ancestry, depending on your guides. This is spearmint. Spearmint clears dark energy. These are just things that I keep the Florida water in a spray bottle. I carry this in my bag. If I start to feel dark, if I don't feel good, if I go somewhere that has spiritual activity, you know, boom. I have a mojo bag that I wear. I usually flip it backwards because I don't like it to be, I don't want people to see it. I like to protect my energy like that. I have a mojo bag full of protective roots that I work with specifically. I wear when I sense attacks coming on. When I know that it's a full moon coming up, a lot of these covens, a lot of these practitioners, they gather on the full moon. So knowing when that full moon is happening and getting a reversal going is really helpful. Also, what is helpful is mirror magic. So I talk about a specific spell, doing a mirror box. Also, I don't know if you guys can see it. I have a mirror right here. This is not one of my main altars, but this is where I'd sometimes do like general. I have a mirror that is double-sided that I'm doing a reversal on. It's my second reversal because that one still needed some clearing. So the mirror on my altar will send dark energy back to, you know, the people sending it towards me, and putting the reversal on it helps to send that energy back. I have a mirror. I don't keep mirrors in my bedroom. I have a mirror in here that I have covered with a black cloth. So mirror magic is something a lot of them use. Mirrors do act as portals. So the only mirror that I really have is the one in my bedroom. I mean, not my bedroom, in my bathroom. And I have anointed that one with protective oils. So I have my, this is my spell work. This is the only one I have in this room. I have my other ones around. You know, taking a little bit of this and anointing yourself. You know, and this is not, you don't have to use mine. This is what I have here. You know, sometimes I rub it here. Sometimes I rub it on my hands. You could do your third eye. You can anoint my clothes. I can anoint my mirror. You know, anointing oils are really great. This is a cologne that I have from a Botanica. It is for clearing witchcraft. I put this on me when I feel dark. When I know people are going to be attacking me. A lot of times I will put it before I go to sleep. Spraying, I use spiritual colognes on my bed. I do a fiery wall of protection I get from another root worker that I like. Putting that on my bed. Protective crystals, I use seals. It is really up to you and what you feel called to do and what resonates with your energy. So I highly recommend just doing your own research and seeing what feels good to you. It's not, I can't get on here and say this is what you need to do for your situation. Exactly, do as I say, and you need to buy my stuff specifically. I'm not going to do that to you guys. So I think that what feels good, what feels right, you know, there are people that clear dark energy with coconuts. There are people that clear it with eggs. Again, a salt bath with baking soda is one that I recommend to everybody. Getting you know, an anointing oil. You don't have to buy it from me. Tons of root workers make them. Putting a few drops on, putting a few drops around your house, you know, anointing your front and back doors, anointing your mirror, putting a little bit in your spiritual bath. Literally, guys, there are hundreds of ways to get this off of you. So I really think what you have to do specifically, and I'm gonna let you guys go, this is a long video, is start to feel into where this dark energy is coming from and cut your ties to that person. And I'm so sorry if you're somebody that is dealing with a masculine, that is dealing with a karmic. You need to release that masculine. And a lot of times when you release the masculine, when you trust that the universe is going to take care of this person, when you trust that if this is somebody that is supposed to be on my path, they will come back to me when they are ready, when it is time, and not before that, because this dark energy is something that they need to deal with on their own. And it's not my job to caretake it for another person, you know. A lot of times when you release that person is when their real work can begin, because your energy, you don't want to block another person's karma. Okay. Oh, one thing I want to cover real quick, you guys. Somebody has asked me this. Well, I have a couple people have asked me this. So this is not, if this comes up, this is black magic. Again, not everybody will experience black magic, but spiritual attack is common for people that are on the spiritual path. So somebody has asked me in tarot, what are the cards that point to spell work? And again, feel into the energy. But these are cards that I'm going to kind of explain what they could mean. And this should probably be a separate video, but we're going to go over it real quick. Okay, so, and a lot of these, one of these cards is not going to point to it, but in combination. So, obviously the devil points to codependency. This is not the devil's only meaning. The devil can mean, you know, somebody is kind of feeling obsessed with you, can point to codependency, can point to, you know, feeling chained to something in some way. The devil, obviously, dark energy. So, you know, it's combinations. The devil, high priestess, the magician. I don't know a more spell work combination than I could ever see. You know, so this is often dark energy. This is often obsessive behavior, codependency, addictions, can point to dark energy. The high priestess often can point to somebody using tarot, somebody that is part of the occult. This is typically somebody that is more using their intuition, diviner. But in combination with, you know, this, we get some of the darker cards involved, like the Eight of Swords, for instance. This would point to me, somebody is using tarot to manipulate another person into feeling trapped in their head. So this can point to, for me personally, if this combination comes up, this would kind of point to somebody is binding another person, somebody is trying to control another person, dominate another person using spell work. A combination like this, the Page of Swords is a card of spying, gathering information. Again, the High Priestess. This would point to me that somebody might be using tarot to try to figure out what's going on with you, gather information about you. Is that necessarily bad? No. The Ace of Wands is a card of spiritual nature. So if we're looking into this combination, again, there's some sort of dark energy at play. Somebody might be using spell work, specifically sex magic here. Other cards, again, this is being stuck, being trapped in your head. This is a card, Five of Swords is a card of trying to one-up another person at all costs. This is a card of chaotic energy. So again, if we're looking at something like this, somebody might be trying to manifest dark energy into you. Somebody might be trying to do conflict magic, create opposition in your life. The Moon, are things hidden? Again, somebody has dark, sinister, somebody has dark intentions here. Something is hidden from you. Some dark energy is going on. Somebody is using moon energy, full moon energy to cast dark energy towards you. Somebody here messes with the occult and, you know, hidden and secret. Seven of Swords is a card of lying, cheating, betrayal, sneaking. Again, somebody is being sneaky, manipulative, using the Magician especially. Really, the major arcana you want to look for, the Magician, is manifesting, but it's also can be manipulation, trickery. The High Priestess is, you know, intuition, is spiritual knowledge, is somebody that has, you know, a heightened divine divination abilities, practices, but when we're getting into this combination, it's not good. It's bad energy. Okay, and then when we look into who would be doing the magic in tarot, the Queen of Wands is often the culprit. She is the mistress in a dark energy. The Queen of Wands does not always mean somebody doing spell work. This is if we are seeing these combinations coming out. Queen of Wands is somebody that is a mistress, that is promiscuous, that uses spell work, uses lust to get what she wants. And sometimes it can be the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords in a dark energy is somebody that is, because you have to think swords. So swords is mental energy. If it's in a low vibration, if it's coming up like this, you know, if it's coming up like this, this is somebody, now this can be, I'm cutting you off because you're keeping secrets and you're lying to me. You have to feel into the energy, see what's going on. This is not, you know, any of these combinations can point to any of the things. You have to be able to read it, really. So tarot is something that should be used if you have heightened intuition. You know, we won't get into tarot, but the Queen of Swords is somebody that plays mind games, that can have mental health issues, that can be verbally abusive. So, you know, this can point to somebody that plays head games and, you know, lies a lot, manipulates other people with spell work, uses word magic. It really depends, guys, but those are combinations to look out for, that something dark is going on. Somebody is using dark energy or manipulation in the least. You know, at the least. But that's what I have for you guys. This has been a lot. This might be something that you guys want me to, you know, I touched on something, you want me to get more into it, let me know in the comments. I will do my best. And again, people are going to be triggered by this video. This is going to ruffle feathers. People are going to accuse me of certain things, but I feel like the people that needed this video and the people that understand where I'm coming from, I hope this has been helpful for you. So I love you guys a lot. Don't fear this stuff. Empower yourself, because if somebody is attacking you with dark magic, that means that you have a lot of light and you have a lot of potential and you have something that makes that person feel powerless. So they are resorting to dark means to try to control you. That means that, you know, you are somebody. That means that people don't go to dark magic to try to harm somebody that has nothing going on for them. So that means that you are somebody, that you have power, and that the same way this person wants to steal your power and use it for themselves, you taking that power and using it to gain knowledge, to protect yourself, to heal yourself, and to align with your own soul mission, which, you know, countering black magic like me, I had no idea that this would be something that was part of my soul mission at all. I had no idea that I was a shadow worker, and I kind of had to go through the trenches and years of this stuff to get to where I am now. So it doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that God hates you. It doesn't mean that, you know, you're weak and people are attacking you. It means that you have a lot of light and you have a higher calling, and more than likely you have magic in your bloodline, you have magic in past lives, and this is coming up into your life not to defeat you but to empower you. So I am hoping you all at the very least have felt empowered in some way by this message here. I wish you all well, and I hope that this has been helpful. Love you all. This next poll will probably go out tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. You guys can let me know what you're interested in seeing next. Love you, love you. Okay, bye.